I can't pray because I can't kneel and I don't have my candles lit, nor am I not in a church. It was just excuses. Last month, I took up the challenge of praying the whole Rosary, the joyful, the sorrowful, and the glorious mysteries, every single day. So today I'm going to talk about my experience praying the whole Rosary every day for a month as mom of 2 little children, 2 and 1 year old, so toddlers, 2 toddlers, and how it went. Did I stick to it? Yes. Did I miss 1 or 2? Yes. There was one particular week where my daughter was ill and I was just really tired. So I was able to pray the joyful and the sorrowful mysteries, but I think whenever it came to the glorious mysteries, at some point or another, I would just kind of fall asleep. And so, yes, I probably missed 1 or 2. And then the next day, I would try and make up for it. I told myself, okay, well, I might as well just, finish it here and then, even though I wasn't able to finish it yesterday. So that was a good thing. So yeah, I did miss a few, but I tried to make sure to keep going and not be such a perfectionist that if you've seen my other videos, you know that I'm a bit of a perfectionist. So what did I gain from this experience? What I loved about doing the whole Rosary every day is that I really get to meditate on Christ's life from beginning to end every single day. It's such a wonderful reminder in the morning to start with the joyful mysteries, to start with the Annunciation, that despite having problems or things that were on my mind, I always remembered that Christ came and he became man, and that would help me throughout my day. So just this everyday reminder of Christ came really helped. So I would start the day with the Annunciation, and then in midday something might have happened, something bad, and then I would start the sorrowful mysteries with Christ agonizing in the garden, and that would remind me that Christ suffered more and he is suffering with me at that moment. And then ending the day with the glorious mysteries. So no matter what happened during the day, Christ rose from the dead, and I should be happy about that. I should be grateful. I should rejoice at that fact. And that was a wonderful thing to do, to have every day, because before I would just do one mystery, so joyful or sorrowful or glorious mystery in a day. I didn't get through the whole of Christ's life in a day, but because of this I was able to. And yeah, it was nice to hear the good news in the morning, to remind myself of the good news. And yeah, that was one good thing. Number 2, I learned that prayer doesn't have to be perfect. I actually talked about this to my priest when I was seeking spiritual guidance, because I was having problems with my prayer life. And like I said, I'm a perfectionist, even with prayer. And he just basically said, Alexis, we're all poor. We're all poor. And we need God. And no matter what you do, your prayer is never going to be perfect. And so it's not an excuse not to pray. And so thinking about that, going through praying when I could, and just forgetting about, okay, well, I'm not in a church, I'm not kneeling, my kid interrupts me like halfway through an Ave Maria, that's okay. At that moment, perhaps the Lord is calling me to take care of my kid, pay attention to my kid, and I can always go back. We are not perfect. We are poor. We are in need of God. So we just have to keep going. And that was a good, humbling experience, and helped me a lot with prayer. And yeah, I learned that I could pray anytime, anywhere, and to be just happy about that. Not happy, to be just content with that. In the season of my life, I have very little time to myself, completely alone, in the quiet. Like I like like I used to have. Before I would go, I lived very close to a church, and there was daily mass, and I was able to go and pray the rosary at the church, etc., etc. And have a kneel and just focus on God. But I have 2 little children, and God is calling me to be with them when they need me. And so if they interrupt me, that is okay. So I would basically pray during our morning walk, because my son is pretty quiet while we walk outside. And so I would do the joyful mysteries in the morning during our morning walk. And then during their nap time, when I'm putting them to bed and they're falling asleep, I would pray the sorrowful mysteries. And then in the evening, while they're falling asleep, I would do the glorious mysteries. Like I said, sometimes they would interrupt. And yeah, a lot of the times I like having the rosary, but my kids like to take it away from me. So I found that most of the time I would just use my fingers. Yeah, praying with just my fingers during our walk. And I actually prayed with the rosary in my hand whilst we were walking. And that is an experience in itself, because people look at you. And yeah, I live in France, and this is a Christian nation, so to speak. I mean, it was, but you get stares like, oh, okay. But after a while, you forget, and you don't think about that. But it's almost like a nice reminding everybody, like, hey, this is a Catholic country, or was established as such. What else did I learn? Yeah, you can pray anywhere. Like, can you imagine, like I thought about the Cristeros, or even like St. Maximilian Kolbe. They were going through hardships, and they were able to pray, and it was essential. They needed to pray. So me with my I can't pray because I can't kneel, and I don't have my candles lit, nor am I not in a church. It was just excuses. And so by doing the rosary, the whole rosary every day, I got rid of those excuses, and I just prayed. And yeah, the desire to pray came more and more. I remember even the first day, I remember I did the whole thing before 2 p.m. just because, like I said, I'm a perfectionist, and I wanted to be successful. I did the whole thing, but then afterwards I thought, hey, maybe I could do one more decade. And then when I did the decade, I thought, okay, maybe I'll do another one, until I did a whole other chapelet, a whole other rosary. Yeah, I've been wanting, I've been praying for this desire to pray more, and it came pretty quickly. And like I've said before, Our Dear Lady can't say no, but you can't look at it as, she's a genie and she's going to make your wish come true. That's not how it works. But there are certain graces that are almost instant when you pray the rosary. I found that instead of getting frustrated immediately, I was able to, I wanted to pray the rosary, or even just a decade, before reacting, having an emotional reaction to whatever was going on. And that was great for my family, my children, and my husband, having a more calm wife and mother. Oh, funny story. This was pretty early on. I had a dream about the rosary, and I think it was like 2 weeks in, I dreamt about the rosary. I dream every night. I'm the kind of person that has a dream every single night, and they're always bizarre. So there was this dream where there was a man following me, and he was going to murder me, but he was his face was really grotesque, and he was running with a knife, and he got me cornered, and then he started multiplying, and then out of nowhere, I take out the rosary and I start praying, Hail Mary, Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum. That was my dream. And I remember waking up and I thought, wow, it's really in there. It's really in there. Okay, other graces. Yes. Hold on. Okay, so my iPhone died. And yeah, it was a blessing in disguise. I had prayed about it before, like, Lord, please get this distraction away from me. And yeah, I died. And so, like, I'm now stuck with an older phone that I have. I can't really, it's not really enjoyable to read on it or to search things on it, but it's still a smartphone and people can contact me and I can have the internet, but it's not as nice as an iPhone that's, with a bigger screen and a better camera. So that was a blessing in disguise. And it was funny, like a day or two later, I was like, oh, I gotta replace it. I need this camera. I need this. That. I don't need it. Oh yes, I was able to implement the family rosary again. So for a time, ever since my husband started working his job, it's a very, very physical job. And he's very tired all the time. And so we did have a family rosary with our 2 children, which consisted of the Creed, the Our Father, 3 Hail Marys, and then a decade. At one point we had to stop because my husband was just so tired. So, and it didn't happen again for a long time. So I thought, okay, I'll just do it with the kids. And then my husband will, join us if he wants to. And he did. And so what we do now, because my kids are, my son's 2 and my daughter's 1. And so now they're starting to play and they have a lot of energy. Whereas before my daughter would just sleep and my son would just feel off everybody else's vibe and just be quiet during the decade. Now we just do, so if you were thinking of doing the rosary with your little children, what we do is we do the Creed. We do the Pater Noster, then we do the 3 Hail Marys, then we do the Domini Jesu, the Fatima prayer, and then we sing the Salve Regina. And that concludes the rosary for the children. And that was great. And now my son is really, because he's starting to speak more, he's excited when he gets the rosary and he goes, In nomine Patris et Filii, but then he doesn't know the rest. And then he says, Salve Regina. So yeah, it's been cute. It's really great. And my daughter just looks at our little statues that we have that we put in front on our shelf at night to focus, and so that they know this is time to pray. Temptations, I feel, have been doubled because I feel like the spiritual warfare just increased. And so whatever vice or sin I've been struggling with, the temptation to do it became greater ever since starting the rosary. And that makes sense. So yeah, I struggled with certain vice ever since, and I'm praying about it to make sure that I keep going and keep praying the rosary and not want to stop, because yeah, it's when you pray the rosary and you're trying to do God's will, the adversary tries to get you 10 times more, and you just gotta keep going. You just gotta keep praying. And if that is what's happening, that's kind of a good sign that you're doing something good. So if you're feeling temptations increase in their potency, know that you're in the right place and know that you're doing good, and pray about it. Ask for protection. Any advice? So here is some advice. If you would like to do it, you can still do it. Don't wait for the urge to come or the motivation to come. I find that if you think to yourself, okay, I should pray immediately. Don't wait for it to go. Don't wait for a quiet opportunity. Here's another advice that's tied to the first one, is that sometimes the most inconvenient place or inconvenient time to pray is the best time and best place to pray. Let's say you're having a horrible day, your children or coworkers, or, you're in traffic and something, it's just really bad. And at that moment you think, okay, God, please help. Maybe I should pray. Just do it. do it then. And usually God's grace will come, calm you down, put things into a better perspective, and you will come out of it on the other side much calmer and not so reactive, using, just reacting with emotions, but instead using your head and your heart. Divide it up. Like I said in the beginning, I was such a, I need to do this. I gotta do this. I gotta do all three. And so I just did all three before 2 p.m. No, it's better if you divide it up in the morning, afternoon, evening. Let's say you don't have morning, afternoon, evening. Well, just do it when you find your free time. You're waiting for the doctor at the doctor's office. You're on a train, or you are, getting your hair cut or something. There's always time that we just don't want to give to God, because we think, especially me, I think to myself, okay, I deserve this time for myself. No, this time was given to you freely, and you are not owed any of this time. So you might as well give it up to God. Pray to our dear mother. And this desire to be with God, to be with his mom and all the saints and pray, just comes despite whatever is going on. Am I going to keep doing it? I am going to keep doing it. I don't think I can stop praying the whole rosary anymore. It's really helped, and the graces flow. I'm not going to talk about everything that's happened since starting, because some of them are personal to me, and I want to keep them to myself. But I'm sure if you do it, the same things will happen. God's grace is going to come. Our dear Lady is going to intercede for you with whatever you need. And yeah, she can't say no. And so I challenge you to do it if you haven't done it. And if you have done it, please comment below. Let me know how it went. Was it good? Was it bad? Did you stop? Are you still doing it? So let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you want to do it, go ahead and do it. It's not too late. You can always do it. You can always start whenever. You don't have to start at the very beginning of the month, but since it was the month of the Holy Rosary, I thought I could challenge myself. But you can start anytime. I've linked in the description below PDF guide that can help you with that, with prayers that you can fold and put in your pocket, and a guide to the Rosary. So if that interests you, go ahead and look at that in the description below. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time, guys. God bless.